Let's bring in Washington Post reporter Ed O'Keefe, who's been inside the confirmation hearing of Judge Neil Gorsuch all morning long, as well as CBS News senior political editor Steve Shigaris, who's been following all of these developments from our Washington bureau. Good to see you guys. So, Ed, let me start with you. Judge Gorsuch's confirmation hearing, what stood out to you, and how do you think the judge did in those first 2.5 hours of questioning?
He hasn't stumbled at all, Vlad, laying out the case for why he believes he should be there. Republicans pretty pleased with what they've seen so far. And you saw very early on Senator Charles Grassley of Iowa, Senator Orrin Hatch of Utah, and just now Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina trying to sort of pick apart, take the steam out of some of the anticipated Democratic attacks that would go into questions of whether or not he would be a truly independent jurist, be willing to rule against the Trump administration should cases related to it come before the court in the next few years, like the travel ban. You saw Senator Patrick Leahy of Vermont bring that up, and Gorsuch say pretty quickly, I don't want to comment on it because it's an active case that likely is going to the high court at some point soon, but snapped back when Leahy suggested that a Republican lawmaker had said recently that Gorsuch would be a reliable vote to uphold the ban. Gorsuch getting a little angry there, saying nobody knows exactly how I would rule on that. Don't believe what those people may have told you. But otherwise, he's presented a very polished and genial, personality and somebody that is eager to get onto the court and work with both sides of the political aisle and consider all cases fairly. Democrats, I would say, so far haven't really drawn blood at all on any issue. And we know going into the afternoon that they are planning to explore all sorts of sections with him, whether it's issues of abortion rights, privacy, his previous work with the Bush administration, which has been part of the topic of conversation so far today, environmental cases, and possibly some other things that he did or said in recent years as a law school professor.
Yeah, he was very firm in terms of avoiding any sort of political comment or any questions that would have lured him into the political realm. But going into the hearing, Ed, we certainly expected Democrats on the committee to relitigate the fact that President Obama's pick to fill the vacant seat, Merrick Garland, did not even get a hearing. Let's listen to what George Gorsuch had to say about this when he was asked about it.
Do you think he was treated fairly by this committee, yes or no?
Senators, I explained to you before, I can't get involved in politics. And there's judicial canons that prevent me from doing that. And I think it would be very imprudent of judges to start commenting on political disputes between themselves or the various branches.
The reason
A little bit of frustration
Leahy's
there.
face there, yeah, not happy.
Yeah. So what do you make of how he handled this question? Not the first time he's heard this.
Yeah, he handled it the way that so many other Supreme Court nominees have before him, by saying, I really can't get into specifics, both because I don't weigh in to partisan politics or because you're asking me about issues that may come before the court in future years. As he said repeatedly today, look, if you're somebody who has a case on that subject that is in process right now and you know that it may come to the court, and I say something today, it may tip the scales one way or the other against you or for you, and that would make me an unfair judge. So this goes back to the 90s, even with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, with Stephen Breyer, with Samuel Alito, Elena Kagan, Sonia Sotomayor in more recent years. None of them really engage on specific issues that senators try to pin them down on because they make the argument, whether you like it or not, that they have to sort of avoid making public statements on these things, lest it potentially upset their ability to rule on those issues in the future. But that doesn't mean Democrats won't try. You're going to see it throughout the afternoon here. They will try to push him in different ways. And I think the goal more than anything is to try to get under his skin, try to create a moment that would cast some doubt, and at least be able to say, look, we asked him all these questions. He wouldn't give us an answer. Maybe that's why we shouldn't vote for him.
All right, Ed O'Keefe. I know, Ed, that you're going to be back in that room once they come back from lunch, so go grab something to eat. We'll talk to you a little bit later.